All right, we've got a lot to break down in this one, and I'm going to be talking about why chasing losses is not the smart thing to do, and I'm going to give you some more insight on that shortly. And for those of you watching for the first time, I'd like to give a little background on myself. Basically, I've been playing for the last 2 decades, and I hop on about 4 times a week playing mid stakes. I don't have one type of strategy like GTO, ABC, or whatever. I really focus on two things. The first is just making good decisions because at the end of the day, we do have control over that. And the second thing is that I try and use strategies against my opponents and exploit them as much as possible, meaning I'm going to bluff without hesitating if I think somebody is weak. And after playing so many hands, you just kind of pick up on a lot of little things quicker. Of course, as I'm getting into this, I also want to say that we have an awesome community in the pinned comments section where you can talk with me one on one as well as with some other high level members. And if you're just stuck or hitting a wall right now, at whatever stake you're at, and want to take things more seriously, I highly recommend getting in. Also, if you could tap the like and let's get right into this. And this is also going to run for about 15 to 20 minutes. So, I like to say this, just grab a bottle of water, some Gatorade, some coffee, and let's, lock in. All right, so let's talk about this. So there was a period of my life where I was chasing without even realizing what I was doing. I wasn't really thinking about the choices I was making. I was kind of just reacting to my emotions that I felt in that moment. Every time something didn't go my way, I'd feel this like heavy pull inside me that, the pressure to immediately fix it, undo the mistake, or just kind of rewrite the moment like it never happened. But, I kept telling myself, I can bounce back. I can get this back, right? I can make this right. But what I didn't understand at the time was that I wasn't actually chasing. I was kind of like chasing the situation. I was chasing like the feeling of not wanting to feel defeated. Okay. And, when you think about playing this game, it's very important to kind of like look at it as a long term thing. Typically, if I'm not doing good or I'm just not running good, I like to quit for the day sometimes, or I'll take like a like a maybe like a 4 or 5 hour break and hop back on. It depends on what I'm doing on that specific day, but I don't have those feelings anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to give some insight on how I approach this. It's just going to be different for everybody, but I do recommend kind of just taking a break so you can kind of like give yourself some time to reset, refresh your brain a little bit. And sometimes quitting for the day is okay too. You know what I'm saying? All right. Anyways, if you guys have any, you want to like chime in on this, you can, hop in the comments or whatever. But like I said, we got some other good stuff to go over here, and I definitely want you guys to stick around to the end because it's going to get interesting. And I am going to be mixing things up here for the most part. I was actually just kind of like playing tight aggressive to start things off. Eventually, though, I did kind of open things up, and I was bluffing quite a bit in this one, if I'm being honest with you. And this is kind of an example of that right here. So, you know, re-raise with Queen Jack suited. I mean, why not? I did continue here. He is going to make the call. Turn card, obviously, we're looking for a 10. The spades are no good here. So can't really do anything with that. It was a 3, though. Pot's actually getting pretty big at this point. Don't know what player five's got. He could have a king here. And it might be tough to get him off a king in this spot, is what I was thinking. So instead of continuing here, check out what I did. So I checked it, which probably looks weak. Player five is going to throw something out there. Now we have to think about this logically. If player five had like pocket nines or pocket kings, you know, he's probably going to slow play it and let me catch up. When he let out here, it told me a couple things. He might have a pair of kings here, possibly, and he's trying to protect it. He might also not. Maybe he's just trying to take this down here. I could see that, thinking that I'm weak. So I came over the top here. If he calls us with a hand like king 10 suited or, king jack, it is what it is. I think our play right there looked extremely strong, and guess what? We took it down. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. I thought that was pretty good right there. Pretty interesting, right? All right, anyways, we move on. All right, next time we had a 4-6 suited. Now, I am on the button here, and if everybody folds over to me, typically I will definitely raise this up from the button. I don't know if it is actually like the standard GTO thing to do, but I am going to, consider it. You could just fold it too, just depends. Let's take a look at the table. So everybody actually is just kind of doing okay. Player 4 is the only one up at this point, really. Anything kind of okay. Everybody else is kind of just where they're at. Player 6 is going to... All right, he raised it. And for us, we probably should just folded this, but, I made the call, But yeah, I mean, this is definitely just a fold almost all the time. I don't even know why I did it. If I was in like the smaller big blind, sure. Not a bad flop for 4-6 suited though. I mean, there is an ace out there, but we have a really low spade draw. I guess there's some possibilities where we get some runner cards for straights too. I mean, it's not like the greatest spot, but whatever. You know, it is what it is. He went really small here. I don't think there's any reason to raise, so I just called. Turn card was a 4, which kind of gives us a little bit more incentive to continue now. We've got at least one pair. Maybe another 4 peels off on the river. Maybe we get the spades. The straight's dead. River card was a king, which is a bad card. So if this guy was bluffing with like queen jack, he just got there. I don't think it makes any sense to bluff this. So we kind of just have to take it for what it is. He had pocket eights. I don't know. Maybe he calls there. Maybe not. I think I probably would have had to go pretty large to get him off that, honestly. So I checked it. And you know what? If you're not sure sometimes, I think it's just better to check and just take the L instead of like trying to force something that doesn't make sense. Does that make sense to you? If it does, okay. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. But it was the play I made and you know it got the job done. All right. All right, anyways, Jack 9 off. We're gonna be folding this. Yeah, and so far we're playing okay. You know, we're doing our thing here. All right, so player three's got a re-raise here to the 50 piece. Back over to player four. Let's see if anybody makes his call. Player four is going to get out the way. Back over to player five. See if he wants to continue, and it looks like he doesn't, man. All right, so he's going to let that go, and we move on to the next one. Which brings us up to jacks, man. I think I had jacks a couple times in this. I want to say I did. All right, so I'm going to open to the 1250 piece, back over to player four. And let's see what player five did. Yeah, a little bit frustrating right there. We had a mid-pocket pair. We get nothing out of it. Come on, man. Kind of noticed, too, like, everyone's playing pretty tight at this table for the most part. So far, at least. Kind of picking up on that right now. All right, so player two opened. Obviously, we're not playing the jack six. Yeah, stick with me, guys, because like I said, it's going to get good here. We're kind of just warming up right now. We're going to cut through some of the noise here, but, you know, we're still just warming up, all right? All right, player four is going to re-raise it here. All right, back over to player two. What you going to do? Ooh, look at this. Pretty interesting. See if player four comes along. He's thinking about it. But yeah, he's going to end up letting it go. That play by player two looks really strong. Got to be putting him on pocket kings. I'd say pocket kings or pocket aces. I mean, he's been playing pretty tight, so it is what it is. All right, so we got a 7-9 suited here. Kind of got myself in a little bit of a tricky spot with this one. You'll see what I'm talking about here shortly. But I am going to open here. Now, you don't have to always play this hand from early position. I do like this hand. If it's hearts or spades, for whatever reason, I really like it. And it wasn't a bad flop because, we need the 8 for the nut straight. We also have runner possibilities for flushes. So I'm going to continue here. And player 4 is going to make the call. Now, I would really like to see like a spade, a 4, or that 8. And we got none of it. So 5 on the turn was not the card we were looking for. Not really sure where player 5 is at this point. There's not too much in the pot, but I was thinking to myself, like, what could he have? A weak jack is possible. He could also have some kind of like weird, straight draw or something like that. Jack on the river, really another spot here where guys like I just gotta. Sometimes you just got to take the L, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. And I think he's going to lead out. We can't really bluff. I mean, we got no bluffs. To me, player four is probably just going for some value here because I don't see him leading out unless he has it. And he went really small, so maybe he had a five there and not the jack, but didn't really matter. I think if I tried to even bluff that and he had the five, he still had the boat. He's probably going to make that call. So it is what it is. All right, we move on though. Ace King offsuit here. We're gonna open. Finally, we got an Ace King. Now we've had like at what pocket jacks once. I think we're gonna have it one more time in this, and then we've had finally got like an Ace King, which is cool. Just looking for something to happen at this point, right? Staying patient. All right, but we got none of that right there. Nobody wanted to continue, and it is what it is, right? Nothing we could do about that. So I think pocket jacks, when we had it, everybody folded. Ace King, everybody folded. A little frustrated with that, but it is what it is, guys. Can't really force it. All right, so we had a 4-3 offsuit. Now check this out. Player six, putting in a position raise. Normally I would just fold this, but I don't know. I think I was just feeling a little frustrated, so I re-raised it to the 45 piece. It's going to come back over to him. And I think we're going to get him off this. So kind of mixing things up a little bit. I have been throwing some bluffs. I mean, like, nothing too much. And here we go with pocket jacks a second time. So is second time a charm for us? We're about to find out, y'all. We're about to find out. Anyways, player four, taking his time on this one. All right, he folded it. Now I'm hoping player five opens here. We're obviously going to re-raise this, All right, yeah, so I kicked it up to the 42.50 piece, back over to him. And sadly, the second time we get jacks in this, nothing, man, nothing. But there's nothing we can do about it. We just got to deal with it, you know what I mean? All right, next I had an ace-8 offsuit. We're going to be in the big blinds. So we're going to be defending. These type of hands you should be defending, especially like, I would say like later position raisers. I mean, why not? You're already in it. Clearly, it would be a lot better if it was suited, but it's still like a strong enough hand to defend here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, player four, who's actually been pretty aggressive for the most part in this. He could be doing this with a wide range of hands. I already realized that. Player six is going to fold here, and we're going to defend and hopefully, get something good, right? And we didn't. We paired the 8, but I mean, there's just not a whole lot here. If he, continues here, which I'm expecting him to, normally I am going to, continue to see at least one more card, see what happens. But yeah, I mean, and he went pretty small here, which kind of just gave us more incentive to continue. Turn card was a 4. It doesn't change a whole lot, but if player 4 goes for it again here, I mean, we kind of got to just let this go, But he didn't. So we got to the river. It's very possible the 8's good here. He could have a 10, though, too. Maybe like a jack 10 suited or like a ace 10. But whatever, the 8 was good. Don't know what he had. Maybe he had ace jack, ace queen, something like that, and we took it down, and, I'll take it. All right, next I went to jack king offsuit. Pretty easy position raise for us here. And we're getting closer to the moment of this one, guys. And of course, like I said, if you're enjoying some of the stuff here, just kind of like my breakdowns or my insight, definitely worth it to get in that community, guys. It's going to be in the pinned comment. And yeah, I just think if you're trying to take things a little bit more serious or, whatever, it'll be good for you. We can talk one-on-one. Okay, here we are. Queen Jack. All right, so we made it, guys. We made it to the moment of this one. And this is where things got a little bit interesting. So what else can we say? Queen Jack suited. We got the diamonds here. Looks really nice. This is also like one of those hands that could definitely crack some bigger hands for sure, as I'm sure you're aware. And we're playing pretty deep, obviously, so, we're going to see what happens here. All right, so here we are on the button. Gonna kick it up to the 1250 piece. Kind of hoping for a re-raise from one of these guys. Both of them been playing pretty snug though, for the most part. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so player two pretty quickly re-raised it. We could be putting him on, some mid pocket pairs. Queens or jacks maybe less likely because we have both those cards. Kings, aces are possible. But this was a really good flop for us. I mean, we've got up and down straight draw. We've got runner cards for the diamonds. It's a good flop. I mean, let's be clear. He's going to continue here pretty small. We, you could argue raising this, but I don't think there's really a reason to raise it. If he does have like ace king, if he gets a king on the turn, that would be like brutal for him, right? Unfortunately, the turn card didn't do anything. However, I was still thinking player two is pretty weak at this point. It just felt like it. If we do run into an overpair, it is what it is here, guys. But this is the play that I decided to go with. I was targeting more of like ace king, ace queen, maybe him just trying to like, especially because he checked it. I mean, he checked the turn, so that's why I went for this play. And what was so weird about this hand is that like I do like this play a lot. But he's gonna like snap us off so quick with just one pair here. And yeah, we're gonna lose. And it was tough, guys. But anyways, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.